Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. I have a very, very interesting subject that I'm going to be talking about. You see it right here on the screen. And I already know that this is one of those subjects that's going to rub some of you the wrong way. Talking about the brothers is going to rub some of you the wrong way. But I wanted you to see that it's another brother who is saying these words. This was a post that was shared on Facebook. And I am sharing the post because so many people say the very same thing, but coming from a woman, it is not accepted. It's not acceptable. Brothers don't like to hear women say such things like be the head, right? And so I just wanted to share these words coming from this brother. He says, Adam blamed Eve for when he knew better. Same way you lazy brothers blaming sisters for our situations. We created. And then he says, be the head. He has a lightning bolt, right? He's saying, be the head. Okay, so again, this is coming from another brother. He is saying, be the head. A lot of women are saying, please take back your headship. Now, we had a few people get upset at us because a few weeks ago, in one of our messages, we said the exact same thing. We asked that the brothers take back their headship. And it went on off into something else. Some brothers got upset by that. They came at us and they were upset by us making the statements. And I'm talking about my husband and myself. We were saying, take back your headship. You see, now, it's like you can't win for losing with some because they're saying that the woman tries to control and be the boss and she got the Jezebel spirit and all this other stuff. But then when a woman says, take back your headship, they take offense to that too. We're saying, look, be in charge. Be the head. Take back your headship. My thing was this. If you are the head, do you need permission from anybody to take back your headship? Do you need permission from Gentiles? Do you need it from women? No, you don't need permission to take back your headship. So why was it that some took offense to that? Because we were saying take back your headship. And this brother right here, he's saying, look, you can't blame Eve because you knew better. Now this brother says, you lazy brothers. This is what a brother said. Blaming sisters for our situation. We created. Now, this brother is taking responsibility for what he believes men created. He's saying, be the head. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say right here and right now that we know women are not innocent in this. We know this. We know that women have a lot of issues they need to straighten out. A lot of things that they need to get together. The problem we are having is that some men want women to take all of the blame and they take none of the blame. And they put it all on the women. They blame the women for the communities. As a matter of fact, years ago, I remember there was a conversation on Facebook where brothers were actually saying 90 to 95% of all crimes committed in the black community are the black woman's fault. I said, wow. Now they're saying whether directly or indirectly, meaning she raised these young men, these thugs, is what they said. So forget about the man who wasn't there to help raise the child. They completely excuse him. You see, completely excuse him. It's all the woman's fault. Now, again, no one is saying the woman is not to blame in some way. She is. If she is a single mom and she raised someone who is out here committing these crimes, of course there is some blame for the woman as well. But for brothers to completely blame the sisters, I agree with this brother who did this post. He says, look, this is a situation we created. And the reason why I agree with that is because when a man is making a baby with a woman, he then becomes to blame when that child grows up in error. Because whether you are dating or married or just a one night stand, you have to be responsible for that sperm once it leaves your body and enters into that woman's body. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. It's like you're sending that child into that woman's body. And just because you're not in a relationship with her doesn't mean that you have no responsibility to that life you created. If you're irresponsible and you create that life, then you have to deal with the consequences of that life. But see, many walk away. This is why the brother said, situations we created. Yeah, when you laid down with that woman, you made that baby. Now, I said a few weeks ago that a lot of the blame falls on the woman when it comes to having children. And I said that for a reason. Because you are going to be left holding the bag. Because of that reason alone, you owe it to yourself to not even engage in that type of activity. You see, when you engage in that type of activity, we all know this. We understand that people make mistakes. No one is perfect on this planet. Not one person can claim perfection, but you can't use that as an excuse for the rest of your life. When you decide to lay there and allow this man to enter into your space, your zone like that, and a baby is created, a good portion of the blame lies on you because you are the one left holding the bag, or should I say, the baby. You've seen decade after decade how men just walk away. What makes you think that your situation is going to be any different when you are not connected to that man? Now, we understand, for those of you who like to deflect, we understand that there are men who are married and they walk away, okay? But you stand a greater chance of being in a married relationship and the man not walking away. Again, not saying that married men don't walk away, deflectors, but you stand a greater chance of them not walking away. And so when you decide to enter into these types of unions with men who you are not married to, the greater responsibility falls on you if you get pregnant, because he can just walk on by. This is reality. This is how it is. Now, some women think that their sex is magical, that is so magical that this man is just going to stay regardless to whatever's going on, regardless to what other woman he sees. Some women actually think like that, but you've got to get your head out of cloud nine. That is not how it's playing out. Be realistic. Treat your body like the temple of the Most High Yah. Dedicate that temple to Yah so that you are not left holding the bag, or should I say the baby. Now back to the men. Again, this brother hit the nail on the head with the hammer when he said that Adam blamed Eve. And so you see men today doing the same thing. Nothing but excuses and blame towards the women. And then you'll have some that'll just throw a little bit in there and say, the men are the blame too. But you women raise these kids. You women this. You women have loud mouths. You women have a feminist spirit. You women have a Jezebel spirit. You women are this. You women are whores. I mean, they say all of this stuff, but remember what we said. I believe it was in Whited Out 5, was it? Or maybe it was just one of our messages. We said, where there is a whore, there is a whoremonger. See, men don't like to talk about whoremongers. They only like to talk about the whores. As if they exist solo. Where there is a whore, there's a whoremonger. because the whoremonger creates the demand for the whore. Keep that in mind, to all you brothers who like to blame only the sisters. I think it's a very, very wicked, unstable, double-minded, low-down way of thinking when you cannot accept your part in something so serious as the downfall of our communities. You can't just blame a mother because she raised these sons. Sometimes a single mom has to work 2 or 3 jobs, and you know it. Now, if her circumstances were different, like there was a husband to work some of those jobs and she was able to stay home with the children, then the circumstances might be different. But when you lay it all on her shoulders and you take none of the blame, I've been seeing a lot of posts lately where black men are calling black women deadbeat moms. Now, there are some deadbeat moms, just like there are some deadbeat dads. And the ones that I'm talking about are those who willingly allow their children to grow up wild. They don't care nothing about them. Don't care what they watch on television, how late they stay in the streets. If they're out here committing crimes and mischief in the streets, they exist, men and women. But some of you are calling women this because they have the misfortune of being a single parent who is struggling to make ends meet and not always able to be there every second to monitor every deed that their children are doing. And some of these parents are equally as surprised and upset when their children do get into mischief, just like the parents who turned in their sons who beat up the young woman and took her shoes. Those parents turned in their children, so they did not condone this behavior. But see, the problem is, what I think is going on is you have those who just want to be blameless, whether it's a man or a woman, don't want to accept any blame, period. And so it's all shifted somewhere else. When we frequently say that every last one of us, for our situations, should look at the man or the woman in the mirror. But see, nobody wants to face that person, because when you look at that person, you want to keep intact the pride that you feel in what you see and what you are. But when you really examine that person, like the scripture says, let a man examine himself. Let a woman examine herself. When you really do that, you're going to uncover something that you don't like. This is why people like to put on a facade. They get in the mirror, they paint their faces, they fluff up those eyebrows and eyelashes, put on lipstick, or gloss up those lips, powder down that face, whatever it is, to hide the real person. Because they can't face the truth about the man or woman in the mirror. Because the truth is pretty scary sometimes when you know that you have a heart that's rotten to the core. Or even if it's not that bad, but what if inside that heart dwells a hypocrite? Or a person that's slothful, a procrastinator? So many things that you can discover when you examine yourself. And so for you men who want to blame Eve for everything, and for you women who don't want to accept any blame for anything, it's time to examine yourselves and work on you. Because at the end of the day, no one is going to take your place when it's time to stand before the Most High Yah. So you brothers need to stop blaming the sisters. You're the head. Let's get back on that. Be the head. Like this brother said, you all created the situations, whether you want to accept it or not. Our forefathers did some things that angered the Most High, landed us in the places of our captivity, in the situations that we are in. And I can't find anywhere in Scripture where all of the blame was placed on the women. Most High said, if my people which are called by my name, he said, my people. He didn't say if the daughters of Zion who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. He said my people, meaning the men and the women. And because of the hierarchy he established, he wants you heads to be the head. Take back your headship. Nowhere in scripture said you need a woman's permission. Chew on that. Class dismissed.